Fan.
The Fan celebrates our $5,000 winning teachers. And iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher. It's powered by Donors Choose. And there's still time to nominate a public school teacher making a difference. They could be the next to win $5,000 to make over their classroom. Do it now. iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
Marcus Foligno joins 9 to noon about 10 minutes from now. But joining us now is Anthony LaPanta, play-by-play voice for FanDuel, calling Minnesota Wild games. It's one of his responsibilities. And he joins us now from the Vox Box at Tria in St. Paul. Minnesota Wild skate is done. Foligno on the horizon. How have you been? Great to see you.
I've been great. It's an exciting time of year, ramping up toward the playoffs.
Yeah.
Everything's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to say, I was a little bit concerned when I must have retweeted your invite to the show today, and I got a text from my wife right away saying, remember not to be stubborn when you're on the radio.
Stubborn?
Yeah.
What's that mean?
I don't know. I thought
Margo?
maybe you guys would know.
No, absolutely.
I mean, I'm a stubborn guy, but I don't know why I would be stubborn on your show.
Well, I got to ask a weird question. Does she ever happen to listen to 9 to noon when we're at like a Vox in the Box? And if you say no, we're not offended.
I think she does, but I just didn't know if there was something that in the past I've been stubborn, or if there was a reason for her to be concerned I'd be stubborn. I don't know. Were you guys about to, like, rake me over the coals or something?
Not at all. Well, you know what? Let's just lay it out like this. What happened?
I don't know.
You and Russo. Russo came up at 10 o'clock, apoplectic, refused a social media picture, dropped a choice F-bomb before we went on the radio, and was describing this podcast argument that you and he had as he did. Then I'm like, hold on. Like not going to Tuscany, not going to Turks and Caicos or Scotland or Italy. He did no. And then he said something else. And he like his podcasting thing was still hooked up. It's like he just picked up the thing for what's the name of it again?
Worst Seats in the House.
Worst Seats in the House for Talk North. And it's like he just picked up the stuff. There was no ending to the podcast and just said bleep you and left.
Yeah, that is kind of how the show ended, now that I think about that. Maybe that's what she was talking about. I guess I hadn't really thought about that.
Well, that's why I asked if she listened, because either Russo tweeted about it, and I haven't looked at social media since the start of the show, but we talked about it for about 10, 15 minutes and stuff, and he was hot.
Yeah, maybe. It was, and it really wasn't that heated, and not any more heated than normal. We just have some differing opinions, and sometimes when I offer mine, he will just interrupt and say, Anthony, you're wrong, and think that that's the end of the argument.
Oh, that's the best.
You're right. It's just everybody knows you're wrong. Well, who's everybody?
Well, right, but you are on the wrong side of this playoff seeding argument.
Apparently, I am. No, it's actually that is what we were talking about, and all I said about it is I'm just kind of tired of people complaining about it, because we all knew what it was coming into the season.
Yep.
It isn't going to change. This is the system, and you all knew it, so let's just play. And you're going to face good teams in the first round of the playoffs in the NHL. I always feel like there's maybe 4 or 5 teams in each conference that you would say going into the playoffs they have a legitimate chance not just to win a round but to make a run. And Minnesota's one of the 4 or 5 in the West for sure this year. By definition, that 8 or 10 teams, that means a couple are going to get beat in the first round that had a legitimate chance to go on. And I believe that if you look at the NFL system, for example, you win your division, you get one of the top 4 seeds. That's everybody knows it going in. Some years it's bad luck. The Vikes. Last year they were the 5 seed and had to go on the road against because they didn't win their division, even though they were 14-3 last year. Well, everybody knew this. If you win your division, then you get a first round home game.
It's so unfortunate would be a good way to qualify.
It's unfortunate, but it's also an aberration. This system has been in place since 2014. And there's not been a time where the top 3 in a conference were all in the same division. So it's an aberration. Aberrations happen no matter what the system. I likened it this year to the Olympic system. The U.S. had to play Sweden in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Well, Sweden was for sure one of the top 4 teams in that tournament. They played like one of the top 4. They won 2 out of 3, but because of their seeding rules, wound up having to play the U.S. in the first round. It's no matter what the system you design, there's always going to be times where something out of the ordinary happens. This is out of the ordinary. Now, what's problematic about this is I don't see Colorado, Dallas, or Minnesota. I think the window might be closing a little bit in both Denver and Dallas, but it's still going to be open for the next couple of years. These are going to be some great races in the Central Division, and why not just enjoy that? This is going to be a heck of a race, a heck of a division, and the first couple of rounds of playoffs are going to be really fun to watch.
He's markedly more active on social media than you and I.
Yeah.
So therefore, if you, specifically in the age of rage, if you frame up what's going to happen and then say they lose in that first round, well, it's going to be what the things with which he's dealing are going to be trying to poke him, but I mean, he's going to respond, and it's just going to go on and on and on and on.
Yeah, it's a never-ending cycle. Don't they call those self-fulfilling prophecies?
A little bit. Okay, well, but as Marcus Foligno walks up the stairs and gets ready for him, what's going on, Moose? I see you, brother. Let me ask you this: if Gary Bettman, right here, says to you, Anthony LaPanta, you can have you can go right over there whenever you're ready, and black coffee over there if you want it. We got everything up here in the GM suite. Food probably on the way, maybe not. If Bettman said to you, all right, I'm going to yield to whatever you think is best for all involved, would you go 1 via 8, or would you do it the way it is now?
I actually would
1
go
through 16. That sounds great.
Right, go back to the old days. Yeah, do you remember the old 1 through 16? No, you're not that old.
I just remember watching a little bit of it with
Gilbert Perreault.
My dad was in Toronto when he went the furthest, and they played first round Detroit, which wasn't bad, and then they went St. Louis, and then they went L.A.
Wow.
And, it was awesome.
So your dad playing Detroit, that wasn't, I'm just stupid here. That's not Zetterberg, Datsuk.
It was like
before that? Or it was that?
Miserman,
first
years, rookie years.
Holy
92,
cow.
93.
And I dated you by saying Gilbert Perreault. I know you know.
My dad played with him, though.
Did he really?
Yeah, he played with Gilbert.
How sweet is that, man?
Yeah, it's unreal.
Marcus Foligno, 9 to noon. Yeah,
he's not in the French Connection room, though, at, what's the restaurant in Buffalo, the old Chefs, where they have the French Connection room. Yeah. Your dad didn't quite make it in there.
Yeah, that's right. Was it Rick Martin? No, it's Martin and
Perreault, Martin.
And there's another French name. Jeez. Always gets me.
Bernie Perrant. Just kidding. Goaltender, Broad Street Bullies. Oh, yeah. So you guys were playing Philadelphia last week, and we're here for Box in the Box. And, I got Heinze on and Gorg and everything. So I'm like, to get the thing started, talking about the Broad Street Bullies and Bobby Clark, Flyers immortality, stuff like that. I had forgotten their goaltender was Bernie Perrant, and then where his ranking was in the league at that time. I'm like, let me get this straight. You got people who are faster than you. They're all going to beat you up, and the goalie's good. I mean, what an unbelievable situation for them. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. I do remember that. And this going back to the 116s, as an old North Star fan, they opened with Boston. Played. Crazy. So there were playoffs like that went back and forth. But yeah, and they had some great battles with Philadelphia back in those days with those teams. And I love the old Philadelphia teams. And what's funny is how much the team still takes on the personality of the city. And Philadelphia has, it seems like they're always that type of team, whether they're competitive, it doesn't matter. Right. The team plays the same way, they're built the same way. Mm-hmm. And the Flyers, it's not quite as brutal as it was back then, but they're still that kind of team.
Yeah, and then, the times where they were soft, the fans let them know. And
absolutely.
How pleased they were with this type of, even if they lost.
You think the fans in Philly let people know that?
No, not at all. But
they learn how to boo before they learn how to speak?
They've always had tough guys and things like that, so. It's good. I mean, a lot of places are like that. You kind of shape a team to where the fans kind of come from in the background of the people that live there.
Well, you came up here. I'm glad you came up here now because LaPanta,
I didn't want to make you wait.
The heir apparent, and Russo Radio, The Athletic, in a heated argument where their friendship was in question over playoff seeding. And like Russo on this podcast, worst seats in the house, basically calling Anthony stupid, saying if you think, Colorado, Dallas,
he just did.
Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota are 3 of the best 5 teams in the NHL, and 2 of them are going to meet in the first round. High percentage. It depends on where it is, but that's also a high percentage, and we'll just play the rest of the games. And not to get you to splash or anything here, but do you have an opinion on that? How it is seeded and what's coming.
I just thought that there should be a reward for your regular season, and I think that comes through the 1 through 8, where we're third. Okay, we play the 6th seed, right? It's just, it's just something that I think that you grind 82 games for, and then mentally in our room right now, we don't care. Like if we got to play Colorado, Dallas, regardless if we want to win the Stanley Cup, you got to beat everyone to win the Stanley Cup. So there's no excuses come playoff time. So in our room, we don't give a crap about what's going on with it. But it's just like it would be nice that if it was you have 82 games, you had a heck of a season, this is what you're rewarded with, and then it causes we saw LA Kings 8th seed, they win the Stanley Cup. Like it causes those unbelievable Cinderella moments, and you get rivalries from that. You get rivalries from someone punching you in the mouth or dirty shot. Like that's how rivalries are created. And then I get it. You play a team enough, you hate them enough, then it creates more rival. But I just think that animosity in the playoffs usually creates something that happens next season, and it just snowballs.
I just like when two people are in a heated argument and it doesn't involve me. Like other people are arguing. I mean, it's like who wants to be in an argument? You know what I mean? But man, that was a hot argument. Holy cow!
Yeah, well, and I love the rivalries, and I think that's what this divisional format has helped create. When you look at what right now it feels like when Minnesota plays Dallas or Minnesota plays St. Louis or Minnesota plays Colorado, those rivalries have grown by playing them in the postseason and battling 6 or 7 times there, plus the 4 in the regular season where you see them. And you asked me the question as Moose was walking up about if I was Gary Bettman and said, hey, design the playoff system, I'd love to see it go even further the other way and eliminate the wild cards and say, we're just going to take the top 4 in each division. And that if you're the 5th place team in your division, do you really have an argument that by God, we should be in the playoffs? Take the top 4 and then let them go head to head. If you're going to go the wild card, I'd love to see it where you only cross over if you have to, if the 2 wild cards come from the same division. So last year, I think we went the other way where Minnesota jumped in the Pacific and then a Pacific team came to the Central. To me, it's all about these are the teams you play the most. They're the teams your fans know the most. I love the old Norris Division rivalries when it was Minnesota, Chicago, and St. Louis, and they'd bang heads all season, and then they'd bang heads again in the playoffs. Right. Those things were great for the game, and every once in a while you get a year like this where it really is. It's an aberration, and you could make the argument that it's unfair to have 2 teams that have had this good a regular season, but it just doesn't happen very often. So I just don't think you have to overreact and revamp a system based on a year where things played out the way they played out this year.
Russo's listening right now, driving somewhere.
He's about to ram into a pole. Yeah,
hitting the horn.
How'd it go out there for you today?
It felt great. Yeah, I'm feeling really good. Just trying to get back into game shape with the practices. We haven't really had many as a team, so tomorrow will be nice to get out there with the guys. And but I feel really, really good right now. So the return is near.
When you're going through what you're going through now, the comeback trail, and you got Sir. Oh yeah, what's going on? Oh, come on over here, man.
Another brother here.
Yeah. Good to meet you. Nick, I'm Paul Allen. You know Anthony LaPanta. Good to see you, man.
How are
you? We got 3 headphones here. We got an extra one. Okay, cool. Say it again. Okay. Nick Foligno, is he?
Nick's just telling me what to do. What else is
he driving you home?
Yeah. No.
Man, I wish we had an extra headset here.
He can't go 5 seconds.
I can give him mine.
Let him jump on yours just for a second. And simply because it's awesome to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
Thanks.
So, a couple of days ago on my 9 to Noon radio show on KFAN, I got to know Oliver Moore last year with the Gophers. With this radio show, we'll focus on college hockey every so often, and I'll call the former coach, Bob Motzko, when they're like taking a bus ride to Houghton or a bus ride to Madison, and then he'll pass the phone around the bus. Well, he passed it around to this Totino Grace kid, Oliver Moore, who's a big Minnesota Vikings fan. So we started chatting and everything. Subsequently, we become friends. So I know he's hurt, and I had him on the radio the other day, and I think Russo wrote about this, but he told me about this last offseason when you guys were together with the Blackhawks. Is it Sudbury?
Yeah, Sudbury.
Yeah, and you brought a bunch. You brought a bunch of players, but most of them young players.
Yeah.
Just to go over some things, get loose, have a good time. I thought that was really, really cool, man, because that doesn't, you'll read about, hey, Brady's throwing to so-and-so, and this guy's throwing to so-and-so, and Anthony Edwards is working out with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander here. But you never hear like a big group like that. So why did you do that? And Oliver Moore, what do you think of him, man?
Yeah, well, first of all, he's a great kid. You know, you could tell he comes from an awesome family, and I love getting to know him. I call him like he's like a young puppy. Like he's just every day is a new adventure.
Golden
retriever. Yeah,
right.
But great guy to be around. Great energy, and he's going to be a great player in this league.
So he went to sleepwalking in your place, didn't he?
Yeah, you heard that story, yeah.
Who still sleepwalks?
Oh man, that was wild. The guys came down in tears the next morning, like laughing about it because he just screamed, and I guess he was yelling my name, and I don't know what he was doing in the nighttime, but
too much pop. Too much pop that day.
The best is like Frank Nazar, one of my teammates, was like, you're not supposed to wake up a sleepwalker, but he Wyatt Kaiser, another Minnesota boy, woke him up and was like, what the hell was that? So,
all right, so the first time Marcus and the group, I think, went before you went to Chicago. All right, I'm chatting with Marcus here. Show's called Vox in the Box, the Foligno face-off. And so we chatted a little bit about it and your mom and stuff like that. Now you're here. So let me start here. When you were in United Center the other night, was it weird? Like how weird was it and why?
Well, just such a quick turnaround, right? I just battled with those guys and then still kind of feels surreal being here, obviously. And I think just going back, it just brought a lot of emotions back. And that's a great group. I really enjoyed my time there. And I think it's kind of nice, though, kind of put an end to that chapter. And now I'm excited to be at Minnesota Wild.
Amen. Nick and Marcus Foligno, 9 to noon. This is the bomb. We have the final Foligno face-off tonight. Now, that's as the games would go. But they're raising funds for Hockey Fights Cancer. And Marcus and I talked about it a month and change ago, close to the NFL playoffs. Go Bills. And for those who may have missed it, like, how can people help? Like, what can we do to help?
Yeah, I mean, you can go to the Foligno Face-Off on the V Foundation website and donate. We're trying to make everyone donate $17 for our numbers. Now we can donate $71.
Yeah, right.
Nick raised the price.
Yeah, I raised the price a little bit. Yeah.
But any amount helps, and you go right on the website there, and it's been awesome. We actually we have this longtime friend. Kim back home in Sudbury, Ontario, who's been a physiotherapist for us, worked on us for a long time over our hockey careers, and she actually just organized a bunch of small businesses in Sudbury, Ontario, and they all got together to donate a check. I believe it was $67,000. They just donated yesterday.
Yeah.
So that's coming. So that puts us over our $200,000 goal. So.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah, it's been a success, and we still got one night to go, and we're really pumped. And for Nick and I, we get to walk in with cancer survivors or people who are going through cancer at the time for tonight's game, and just get to meet people and spread the love and spread the word of people battling through cancer.
Question for both of you. We'll begin with Nick. What did your mom mean to you when it comes to where you are now?
How long's this?
Yeah, you guys can both go back and forth, man. We got plenty of time.
No, she just. You know what? I think anyone that has, reached their, dream of playing in the NHL or anything they've done in life, your mother is a big impact in that. And I think we were blessed to have a mother that understood, even though with 4 kids, we all felt we were loved the same and had the same opportunities to grow and become the people we are. And I think that's, as a parent now, is probably the hardest thing to do. And you admire her even more so. And, we miss her because it's a woman that I think would really enjoy seeing how well her kids are doing now and what she made us into. So that's what she's meant to me and Marcus and my sisters. And everyone thinks their mother's the greatest, but we truly think ours is. And it's a nice way to be able to honor her now by continuing to do the good work that she put in for us.
Marcus, did she push you guys? I mean, like, in what ways did she push you guys as a mom?
Nick will say she pushed him more than me. I was the youngest, so I got to be cuddled at home.
That's why he's so much bigger. He's loved more.
She fed me a lot more, and she pushed us. I mean, she brought us to the rinks and everything, and made sure that we got to where we needed to go for our sports and school and everything. And she just unconditional love. Everything we did was. I remember many games where my dad had something to say to me, but she had something to say. Great toe drag that one shift or something. But meanwhile, it was probably -3 in the game.
She's a really good referee.
Yeah, right. She was always positive with us and always made sure that we were having fun and loving the game.
That was elite. Anything else we need to know about the Foligno face-off? Seems like we covered everything. This is beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. Yeah,
and you got your brother back out there in the skates, so he's ramping up for regular season playoffs or whatever.
Yeah.
Lastly, I mean, it's having Ollie on the other day, man. Like deep diving to get ready for the interview. I knew this happened, but I didn't see it. So I'm researching some things. On his 21st birthday, all right, you're in Raleigh, and he gets into a fight, loses the fight, but he's sticking up for somebody else.
You never lose a fight. You show up, that's a win.
Right, yeah, for somebody else is the way you put it. Perfectly stated. Has an assist, and on his 21st birthday, he wins the game in a shootout, and when he skated over by the glass, you're like the first one I saw, and the smiles on your guys' faces with this kid who had just turned 21 winning a game, that's going to be an all-timer from a memory standpoint, right?
Oh, that was an awesome night for him. He's, especially stepping up first fight, not going all that well.
Yeah.
Probably still in La La Land on that shootout, but he did a hell of a job. And, it's something you'll never forget. And we gave him the Gordie Howe on that night.
Yeah, but he won't give it to himself.
No.
Because it was a shootout.
Gave it to him, but that was awesome.
Hey, man, great having you on the squad.
Pleasure meeting
Thank you for coming up. Pleasure meeting you, too. Marcus, you're the bomb.
Good
you got to stay healthy, all right?
Sorry, Panther, for stealing.
Yeah, sorry.
That's what
no, Anthony's going to stick. Unbeknownst to Anthony, sticking around another 10 minutes now. Marcus and Nick Foligno, Aaron Sickman, thank you very much. That was A+. Foligno face-off, the final Foligno face-off tonight, Blackhawks and Wild. We'll be right back. So to land the plane, Russo radio texted me, and I think we got to him a little bit. He wants to make sure he's going to Tuscany, or is it Turks and Caicos, or
this year we're going to Como and then the south of France this summer, which is going to be terrific.
Anthony,
I've never been to the south of France, so I'm excited about that. We're going to Nice and Monaco and one other stop I can't remember, but we're starting in Como, which is one of my favorite spots out of all of them we've been before. Como is one of the best.
And Russo's in the mix.
Russo's in the mix.
Okay, you're good, Mike.
Yeah, he's okay. The people who go with us on these trips know all too well, but it doesn't take very many days for them to realize what the dynamic is between Russo and I. Is that he'll find a reason to complain about something every day, and it bothers him.
The best.
It bothers him as much, whatever it's bothering him, that it doesn't bother me. That seems to get him as riled up as anything.
A common thread 9 to noon today, including with the coach, is just the weird human nature part of the year. 13 to go. It worked out okay with Heinze. He understood what I was saying, but I mean, you got percentages. It's an incredibly high percentage that you're going to play Colorado or Dallas in round one. In fact, let's call it a 99.8. It's, to be on the road for that series, relatively high percentage, but you get Dallas twice, beat them twice in regulation, scoop 4, give them 0. Who knows? That could change. But nevertheless, when from your experience, and it's vast and long, with players especially, when you kind of know what that carrot dangling in front of you looks like, I'm not saying those 3 losses to Philly and the Rangers and Toronto and tightly knit fashion against victory against the Blackhawks plays into this. I don't think it can completely be eliminated because they know our opponent's going to be one of these two. We're most likely going to be on the road. And that's human nature, which gets to win occasionally.
Yeah, I agree with that. The only thing I would say is that, and hockey's it's a fickle game, and it's a game that has a fluky nature to it, where some nights, it's the reason you play 82 games instead of 17.
Yeah.
Because there are so many nights where the puck hits the post, the puck hits a skate and goes in, or it doesn't. And in those 3 games, the Wild were not at their best. There's no doubt about it. And it's been a theme for them this season. They're the best team in the league against teams that are currently in the top 3 in their division.
Ooh.
Best record in the league.
Jeez.
And they're 27th when it comes to teams that are outside the playoffs. So they haven't matched against the non-playoff teams. But in those 3 games, their game wasn't nearly as bad as the result of 3 losses. And expected goals for is a percentage that can usually give you an idea of whether your game is good or not. Most nights, if you're at 65%, you're going to win 80% of those games. They were over 60% over the 3-game stretch. 80% in the third period of those games. So I just don't think the game was as bad as what it said. The puck just didn't go in.
Yeah.
They had a ton of chances on the power play. They didn't score on the power play.
Yeah.
So they lost some close games.
Well, Shesterkin was unbelievable in the Saturday game against the Rangers.
And Stolarz was unbelievable in the Sunday game against Toronto.
And Vladar. I mean, I heard Walsey with Nordo yesterday talking about this shot attempt thing, like 85 to whatever. Like, holy cow.
Yeah, it was, and that was they talked about their slow starts, and they did. They didn't start sharp against Philadelphia, but in those 3 games, they were still 55% in the first period. They were 80% in the third, but 55% in the first. I mean, it just wasn't time to panic. Is the point. And everybody has these stretches. I put together some numbers before our game in Chicago on Tuesday night. Minnesota, Colorado, Dallas, 3 of the best in the NHL. Colorado had a 3-5-2 stretch earlier this year.
Yep.
5 of the 10 were against non-playoff teams.
Yep.
Dallas had a 2-6-4 stretch. That's 10 losses in 12 games.
And injuries definitely play into
a part.
Like Colorado hasn't been a 10 of 10 recently.
No.
But then you look at those injuries that they've had, and when they get those guys back, man, they're good.
And the Wild they've battled injuries all year, and right now they were in a 3-4-2 stretch. I mean, everybody has a stretch like that. With the NHL system the way it is, I believe what separates the teams that end up at the top and the teams that don't are the teams that when you're in one of those ruts, you find a way to push some games into overtime, steal a point even when you're losing, and then nip them at 8 to 10 games rather than letting them stretch to 20.
Yeah.
And that's what the Wild have been able to do, 3-4-2, and then they followed up with a win in Chicago the other night. So they've been able to cut their losses. They've pushed more games into overtime than any team in the league this year, and that's a big reason why they're sitting as comfortably as they are right now.
Mm-hmm. Anything with Eck being out for a few games? I mean, we're talking, the idea down the stretch here of Hines' ability to play around a bit with how he might shape things into the playoffs. But this is still now a team that isn't completely healthy. With Eck out a few games, Brink he has that cool game against the Mammoth last week, and then he gets nicked up, so we want to see him back on the ice. Anything with Eck being out that kind of robs us in the short term of, we got Urhoff, I think, up in the top line again, just kind of forced to shift versus choosing to, I guess, in this spot?
I think it's a little bit of both. You obviously want to be healthy first and foremost, and the luxury they have right now is that they do know they're going to be in the playoffs, even though I know mathematically they haven't clinched. So you can give Joel Eriksson Ek the time to get healthy and make sure he's 100%. But it opens the door for some opportunity, like we saw in Chicago the other night, where some other guys got to play different roles. Ryan Hartman on the top power play. McCarron played a more significant role in the penalty kill, and you saw more guys in face-off spots because Eriksson Ek takes as many draws as anybody in the league. But I do think from here to the finish, what's important for Hines to be able to do is, even if it's not how you're going to start a game, what can I go to if things aren't going well? And he showed it the other night again against Toronto at home, where in the third period he went to Hartman, Tarasenko, and Zuccarello, a combo we hadn't seen yet.
Right.
Now in the back of his mind, he knows, even if I want to start a game with Ek, Boldy, Johansson together, and Hartman with Kirill and Zuki, if things aren't going well, I can shove Eriksson Ek up between Kaprizov and Boldy and really load up a line and know that I've got a secondary scoring line that might work with some chemistry. So you get a chance to try some of those things, and maybe you get to try even more of them without Eriksson Ek in the lineup. You want him in the lineup, no doubt.
Yeah.
But it does give you a chance. Let me see what Urov looks like with these guys for a full night and just see, is it something I could go to if all of a sudden within a game things aren't clicking or somebody's banged up or whatever it might be. So you get a chance to experiment. We saw Brink with Eriksson Ek and Boldy early. Is he a guy that you could throw in the top 6, whether it be within a game or for a game? Tarasenko up there. Different possibilities here down the stretch. I think we'll see a lot more of them. I think tonight we're going to see some juggling on the blue line where it's been Faber with Quinn Hughes since he's been here. Tonight I think we're going to see Faber with Brodin and Spurgeon with Quinn Hughes. Just see how you like it. See if it works. See if there's something there. Maybe it's even in a third period protecting a lead, where now I want to see more of Faber and Brodin together.
You're old school, best school, so it doesn't matter if you like 3-on-3 or not with what I'm about to say. I'm going to take the leap that you love calling it, I mean, when it's 3-on-3, man, it's just, I mean, I got all your albums and the JoJo to the Zuki to win it. A little extra in there, but you love calling 3-on-3, don't you?
I love 3-on-3. I wish they'd tweak it just a little bit. Now, the other night was thrilling. Mm-hmm. It was back and forth like what
those
they
Those
had.
two Blackhawks who couldn't get off the ice,
right,
they were there for 2
on
minutes.
The ice for 2 minutes. And that's what they had in mind, and that was if you remember when they first went to it, it was chance. And now teams have become more, don't ever give up the puck, just hang on to it, circle out of the zone. I wish there was a way, and I know there's loopholes to well, how would you do it? But I wish they could do something that eliminated almost like an over and back type thing in basketball, where once you're in the zone, you can't just take it back out to neutral ice and circle. There have been some games where it hasn't been as exciting just for that reason. But I love it. What I wish they get rid of is the shootout. I can't stand the shootout.
I'm not a fan
it just
either.
Doesn't decide the game's 3-on-3. It's exciting. At least it's hockey. Just the shootout to me is I'm tired of it.
I did want to get back, and it's kind of a weird way to end it because we were talking about the 3-on-3 and the OT, but a week ago we have Russo on and we're having conversations with people. And we're kind of talking, just kind of underrated seasons. We focus so much on Kaprizov and Boldy, and then the trade deadline has us talking about bottom 6 guys. And I was just thinking about Danila Yurov and what was expected for him to find meaningful games and meaningful minutes, and then now what we've seen over the course of the year. What do you think of Danila?
I think he's got a chance to be a really good player. We earlier this season compared his numbers at this point in his career to Jules Eriksson-Ek, and they were eerily similar. And
when Eriksson-Ek was 22,
was that age.
Yeah,
that many games into his career, and they're still relatively similar for that point in his career. Eriksson-Ek was a little bit better on the faceoff dot. Yurov has really struggled there, but he's a responsible player. Hasn't necessarily shown electric offensive skill yet, but Eriksson-Ek hadn't yet at that point in his career, and he's turned into a very valuable offensive player. I still think there's a chance that he turns into that type of guy. Mm-hmm. Maybe not with quite the edge that Eriksson-Ek has, but there are very few guys in the league that have that. I mean, he might be as good a defensive forward there is in the NHL, and so it's hard to say Yurov could become that. He might have a little bit more offensive upside in terms of creativity and explosiveness. We'll see. But I think he's had a really good under-the-radar rookie season, and there's a reason why when the Wild made some of the moves they made, they were willing to put Marco Rossi in the trade to bring Quinn Hughes, because I think they liked what they had seen from Yurov in terms of what might be down the road for him.
I'm really happy God chose to give you this evening off, to give you extra time to get ready for Saturday. Saturday in the matinee.
I wish he hadn't. I hate nights off. You know what it's like at this point in the season.
Actually,
you want to be working every
radio.
game.
No, we do them all.
You work them all, but only one a week.
Yeah, fair point. Hey, you are the best. Marco, he wasn't stubborn. He was elite. If he was stubborn, Nick Foligno wouldn't have been on the radio show. So I just put your wife in a box.
I wasn't stubborn at all.
You were elite. I don't know what she's talking about. All right, have a good day. All right.
Yeah, thanks. You guys too.
Anthony LaPanta, Nordo, and I put a wrap on the show after this. All right, thank you for the good times today. Brett Blakemore, excellent work as usual. Likewise for mad producer Eric Nordquist. And yours truly, Paul Allen, excited for the Friday football tomorrow, 9 to noon with Greenway. Chris Finch at 9. Alec Lewis is with us in studio, and much, much more. Thank you for listening to Box in the Box. God bless you and your families. Have a wonderful day.
Good times, ain't we lucky we got 'em? Good times.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.